the only reason I logged on to talk to her and play with her. That was like, okay, so this is the social side of WoW now.
I'd log on to WoW at night and I'd talk to all my friends, and that was like something that I didn't get in real life.
For the most part, there are some people in the game that are really nice people, really friendly. When a game's got an environment like that, you stick with it.
I've been playing WoW for like 10 years plus now. I originally got into WoW basically with my cousin. He used to live next door to me, and I went round to watch him play it for a few months, and it was just amazing. And I used to spend like most of my life at his house, so we'd just sit next to each other and do dungeons together and farm gold to get epic mounts and things, and yeah, great times, great times.
So I think I first started playing World of Warcraft because a friend at school kind of introduced me to the idea of MMOs, and I tried RuneScape like most people did. Then I moved on to Guild Wars, and there was always something about the MMO genre which I thought was really cool, but none of the games quite gripped me. And a friend of mine got it, and he was like, just play it, and then I was hooked.
I was introduced to the game through my brother. When I first started playing, it was actually on his account. I became gripped with a game which I didn't really expect. It didn't seem like my type of game. Like, I normally stuck to like racing games and stuff like that when I was younger, but something hooked me to this game. I don't know what it was, but it ended up being one of the biggest parts of my life.
In Burning Crusade, I moved into another guild with a good friend of mine, Sven, who I ended up meeting in real life. He invited me over to this convention thing in Norway called The Gathering, which is about as nerdy as it sounds. It was in this upturned Viking ship sort of stadium, and you just go in and it's dark, full of sweaty nerds, monitors everywhere, and Daft Punk really loudly, and Norwegian people shouting stuff that I didn't understand. And I think after 4 days of that, we eventually went outside and blinded by the snow and got some Snickers bars and Coke and things, and then came back, and that was pretty good, yeah. Just playing games for a week straight, basically, in a foreign country.
During the first year that I was playing, I remember typing in, I think I was in Stormwind, I needed to get somewhere, I wanted to go off and do a quest, I didn't know how to do it, and I was like, can anyone show me where this is? And this dude popped up. It took about an hour and a half, and this guy just stuck with me and ran me through the route that I needed to take, and just stuck with me and chatted with me the whole time. I think that was the moment I realised that how social this game can be and how friendly people in the game can be. Because like, wow, this complete stranger has just spent an hour and a half of his time doing something that was quite mindlessly boring, just trying to get me to this location. When a game's got an environment like that, you stick with it.
It wasn't until my brother suggested that we'd level characters up together, which properly hooked me to the game, where I made a hunter orc and my brother made a priest troll called Cam the Man, because Cam is the man. And basically we leveled up together, which was like super fun. The best experiences of my life was just from playing WoW with my brother.
I met this paladin called Gertha, who I ended up being in a relationship with for some time. So I met online on WoW and just used to like chat online all the time, which, you know, not really going any further than that. But then after about a year of that, I guess, I went over to Finland to see her. I was there for about a week and then came home, and things sort of went on from there, going for a like, sort of long distance relationship. And then I went over there for the following Christmas, which was pretty crazy, like seeing a Scandinavian country, or Finland, in that sort of time of year was pretty nuts. And especially being away from my family at Christmas and staying with, you know, a girlfriend at the time, it's pretty cool. For a period of time, basically, like the only reason I logged on there to talk to her and play with her, that was like, okay, so this is the social side of WoW now. Like, I can see why people just play this for the social aspect. Eventually we split up, but yeah, it was a really good time while it lasted. It was really cool. Certainly very interesting.
Burning Crusade was the first time that I had got to max level, and that took quite a while. So then the first time I raided there was quite big, because it was like, okay, this is what the game's actually all about. Cataclysm, I joined a guild that I got on really well with. Like, you'd log on and people would be like, oh, hi Ed, hey, and You know, you felt like part of a community, and a lot of the people in that guild were kind of parents, which was quite surprising to me at the time, because I was raiding and they were like, that's right, I've just got to go check on the baby, or my wife's off doing this and then I've got work in the morning. And I was at school at the time and I was kind of like, this is weird, this is, you know, I mean, I still got on with them really well, and that's what I think was kind of great about it, is because there were people from all ages, but you're all there to do the same thing.
Wrath of the Lich King came out and I managed to find a guild called Nation of Domination. We got to know each other quite well and it was a really kind of fun guild to be in. And at the time of playing this game, I wasn't in school and I didn't really have, or I didn't feel like I had many friends, and I didn't really get outside much. So the fact that I could sit and talk to these people and them like talk back to me like I was like a normal person, and we did this thing together like every couple of days a week, was just, it was so helpful for me personally. I'd log on to WoW at night and I'd talk to all my friends, and that was like something that I didn't get, you know, in real life. So Warcraft was basically the best thing for me, and it was the best thing for me for years.
The guild I was in at the end of Kato broke apart because of tanks being really bad. And I'm still in touch with a couple of people on there now, like good friends that I made in that guild. But since in Mists, I joined the guild that I'm still in now, which is a really cool guild, a really social guild, and sort of always on TeamSpeak, always on the chat. We've done raiding, and we raided Siege of Orgrimmar and whatnot, and it was good fun. But I think ultimately it was definitely more of a social experience for me.
You know, World of Warcraft's a game where you start off at a low level. There's loads of content. It's so much that, you know, people have hundreds and thousands of hours playing this game because there's so much to do. And it's really rewarding. You're constantly improving your character. You're never the best character you can possibly be. You know, there's always better armor you can get, you can level up, you can unlock new abilities. Combined with the social aspect where the idea of a group of people getting together and killing this boss that there's no way you could possibly do on your own. It's satisfying, you know, to know that, wow, me and 24 other people just took down something together. Same with any sport, really. It's a good feeling.
During Cataclysm, I pretty much just logged onto the game just to kind of get away from the real world, even if I didn't have anything to do in-game at the time. There's this one time when I logged on, I was talking to a friend of mine in my guild. We were both kind of logged on and we were kind of bored, and then like, I can't remember how it happened, but we started playing hide and seek in the middle of one of the zones, Ashura. She would go hide, and then I'd fly around trying to find her, and you just waste time and we'd chat at the same time. And it was just like a bunch of fun. But the game isn't meant technically for stuff like that. You're meant to do raids and whatever, but you can just log on and hang out with your mates and just have like a fun time doing whatever you feel like. It's just a great experience.
The social part of WoW is so integral to the experience. The game used to be better, in my opinion. Over time, a game like isn't enough to keep people playing and keep people subscribing. It was that social aspect, you know, you're in a guild, you've got people that rely on you. Even though it is a game, these are real people, they're spending their time night after night, and you're all working together and you form these bonds, and that's what keeps people interested and that's what keeps people playing. You know, I still like raiding, and I'm still able to do like the harder raids, but it's not really why I still play WoW. I've mainly played just to talk to people, and it's like a social network where you get to kill dragons. It's better than Facebook for that reason.
I think it's one of those games that nothing can replace it, and every time a new expansion is announced, it will pique my interest without fail. I will always say I'm tired of World of Warcraft now, and then a new expansion comes out and it breathes new life into it, and you end up playing it again. So I think it will always be there until the game gets to the point that the game has virtually died out, which will happen eventually, but probably not for a while yet. Then I think it will always be a part of my gaming life.
It's quite hard to sum Warcraft up into kind of like what it is, because it's so big. It's the place I go to just kind of have fun, just kind of take myself out of the world at the time. It's kind of just de-stress, I guess. For me, it's a second home.